The vast expanse of space hummed with quiet anticipation as the Galactic Confederation's primary diplomatic vessel approached the newly discovered solar system. Captain J. Park sat in the observation deck, his dark eyes scanning the unfamiliar starscape. Beside him, Engineer Hyun Kim checked the communication systems, her fingers dancing across holographic displays. Alien representatives from various planetary systems watched with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. Humans were an anomaly, a species that had seemingly emerged from a planet classified as a death world, a term that sent shivers through most galactic civilizations. Ambassador Krell, a tall crystalline being with translucent skin that shifted colors with his emotions, leaned forward. His body flickered between deep blue and nervous green as the human vessel came into view. Scientific Coordinator Vinna, a compact reptilian creature with multiple eyes, adjusted her translation devices. "They're primitive," Krell muttered. "How could a species from such a violent planet survive, let alone develop interstellar travel?" The human ship moved with an unexpected grace. It wasn't sleek like the standard Confederation vessels. Instead, it looked almost brutish, reinforced with layers of protection that seemed almost comically excessive to the alien observers. As communication channels opened, J. Park's voice came through, clear, calm, without a hint of the nervousness that would typically accompany first contact. "Galactic Confederation, this is Captain J. Park of Earth Exploration Unit. We acknowledge your communication and request peaceful dialogue." Vinna's translation algorithms worked overtime. The language was simple, direct, almost brutally so. No flowery diplomatic language, no intricate ceremonial greetings, just a straightforward declaration of intent. The alien observers exchanged glances. This was not how first contacts typically proceeded. Most species approached with elaborate rituals, complex linguistic dance of diplomacy. These humans were different. Hyun Kim began transmitting initial data packets, scientific information, planetary records, technological capabilities. But something was strange about the transmission. It wasn't just a standard information dump. Each piece of data seemed carefully curated, almost like a strategic presentation designed to both inform and challenge. "Look at their planet's environmental data," Vinna whispered to Krell. "Extreme temperatures, high gravity, predatory ecosystems, constant geological activity. Any other species would have been wiped out centuries ago. The humans had not just survived, they had thrived." Ambassador Krell's crystalline body shifted to a deep purple, a color of profound confusion and emerging respect. The initial assessment of humans as primitive was quickly dissolving. J. Park's communication continued, each word measured, each sentence carrying an underlying confidence that seemed to challenge the very notion of galactic superiority. He spoke of Earth not as a limitation, but as a forge that had shaped their species into something remarkable. Aboard the human vessel, the crew moved with a synchronicity that spoke of years of training and an almost telepathic understanding. Each movement was efficient, each action purposeful. They weren't just exploring space, they were conquering it. The alien observers realized something fundamental was happening. This wasn't just a first contact. This was the moment the galaxy would remember as the day everything changed. "We are here," J. Park's final transmission stated, "to establish communication, to learn, and to contribute to the larger galactic community." Simple words, profound meaning. As the transmission ended, a heavy silence filled the Confederation's command deck. The humans had not asked for permission. They had not begged for acceptance. They had simply announced their arrival. Vinna's multiple eyes blinked in rapid succession, a sign of extreme processing among her species. The data suggested something unprecedented. A species that didn't just adapt to extreme conditions, but saw those conditions as an opportunity for growth. The crystalline Ambassador Krell's body now shimmered with a complex pattern of colors. Respect, fear, excitement, and something that almost resembled excitement. The Galactic Confederation's Scientific Council gathered in their massive circular chamber, holographic displays flickering with planetary data. They had designed what they believed to be the most challenging mission in galactic exploration history, a task no species had ever survived. Yoon Lee, the human technical specialist, studied the mission parameters with an unsettling calm. The Bao planet, designated X789, was a nightmare of environmental extremes. Temperatures fluctuated between -200 and +300 degrees. Atmosphere contained toxic gases. Geological instability meant ground could literally dissolve or explode without warning. Impossible, muttered researcher Glink, a silicon-based life form. No biological entity could survive these conditions. The mission requirements were brutal. Teams needed to establish a sustainable research base, create atmospheric filtration systems, develop infrastructure, collect scientific data, survive for 30 standard galactic cycles, most alien species calculated. Survival probability at 0.01%. Humans had volunteered within minutes of hearing the challenge. Su Jin, the mission's medical expert, prepared their specialized equipment. Her kit contained innovations that made alien medical technology look primitive. Adaptive nanosuits, self-repairing medical kits, and psychological stabilization technology that could help humans maintain mental clarity under extreme stress. "We're ready," J. Park told the Confederation's council. His voice carried zero doubt. The launch preparation was methodical. While alien species would spend months in complex, ritualistic preparations, humans moved with practiced efficiency. Each team member knew exactly what to do, how to do it, and had multiple backup plans. Their spacecraft looked different from Confederation vessels. It was heavily armored, built more like a protective shell than a sleek exploration vehicle. Every inch designed for survival, not aesthetic appeal. As they approached X789, initial sensor readings confirmed the planet's hostility. Massive electrical storms raged across toxic landscapes. Ground plates shifted unpredictably. Radiation levels would kill most known species within minutes. The alien observers watched with a mixture of scientific curiosity and barely concealed expectation of failure. J. Park's voice remained steady during descent. Entering atmospheric zone. Preparing. Initial landing sequence. The spacecraft's landing was anything but smooth. It fought against violent wind currents, electromagnetic interference, and ground instability. Where any other species would have retreated, humans pressed forward. First contact with the planet's surface revealed immediate challenges. Ground temperature exceeded 250 degrees. Toxic gas clouds moved like living entities. Random geological shifts threatened to swallow their landing zone. Yoon Lee began setting up initial protective systems. Her hands moved rapidly, creating adaptive shielding that could modify itself based on environmental changes. Each movement was calculated, each decision backed by extensive training and psychological preparation. Su Jin monitored team health, her medical systems continuously analyzing physiological and psychological data. The nanosuits they wore weren't just protective gear. They were living, adapting systems that could instantly respond to environmental threats. The alien observers watched in disbelief. Hours passed. The humans not only survived, but began establishing their research base. Where other species would have required massive support infrastructure, this small team worked with minimal equipment. "Impossible," researcher Glink repeated, but this time with a hint of uncertainty. J. Park's team worked in perfect synchronization. One person's task seamlessly connected with another's. No wasted movement, no panic, just pure focused efficiency, and the first galactic cycle passed. The humans had completed what the Confederation considered a month's work. Their base was not just surviving, it was thriving. The planet continued its assault. Toxic gas clouds, extreme temperature shifts, ground that threatened to consume them. But the human team adapted, modified, survived. Something profound was happening. This wasn't just a mission. This was a demonstration of human capability that would challenge everything the Galactic Confederation believed about survival, adaptation, and potential. The harsh landscape of X789 seemed determined to destroy the human team. Massive electrical storms crackled across toxic skies. Ground plates shifted like living creatures, and radiation levels would have killed most known species within moments. Jay Park watched the external monitors, his expression calm and calculating. Around him, Yoon Lee and Soo Jin continued their work with remarkable composure. Where other species would show signs of stress, these humans moved with precise, almost mechanical efficiency. Alien observers transmitted live feeds back to the Galactic Confederation. Their scientific equipment struggled to process what they were witnessing. The humans weren't just surviving. They were systematically conquering an impossible environment. Yoon Lee developed an atmospheric filtration system using materials most scientists would have considered completely inappropriate. She combined local mineral deposits with modified technological components, creating a filtering mechanism that could purify the planet's toxic atmosphere. Impossible, muttered researcher Glink, watching the holographic transmission. The humans' solution defied all known scientific principles. Soo-Jin monitored the team's physiological responses. Their specialized nanosuits adapted continuously, creating microenvironments that allowed human bodies to function under conditions that should have been fatal. Her medical systems weren't just protecting. They were learning and evolving with each passing moment. The planet threw everything it could at them. Massive ground shifts that would have destroyed conventional structures barely registered with the human team. They had designed their base to be as fluid and adaptive as the environment. Its self-communication logs showed something equally remarkable. Where most species would descend into panic or communication breakdown, the human team maintained crystal-clear communication. Each member anticipated the other's needs, their interactions a complex dance of survival and scientific exploration. J. Park discovered a way to use the planet's extreme electrical storms as an energy source. What should have been a destructive force became a sustainable power generator. The alien observers watched in growing disbelief. Their technological solutions were brutally simple, yet incredibly sophisticated. No complex theoretical frameworks, no overly complicated approaches. Just pure, practical problem-solving that seemed to bend the very laws of scientific possibility. Yoon Lee's latest innovation involved creating protective barriers using local geological materials. She didn't just create a shield. She created a living, adaptive system that could modify itself based on environmental changes. What would take alien research teams years, she accomplished in hours. The Galactic Confederation's communication channels buzzed with excitement and confusion. The initial mission parameters had been designed to be uncompletable. Yet these humans were not just completing the mission, they were rewriting the understanding of survival itself. Soo-Jin's medical systems revealed something even more extraordinary. The human body wasn't just protecting itself. It was actively learning and adapting to the environment. Cellular mutations occurred rapidly, creating protective mechanisms that medical science had never imagined possible. As the mission progressed, the alien observers began to change their perspective. These weren't just humans. These were something more, a species that saw challenges as opportunities, environments as puzzles to be solved. Jay Park's leadership was particularly noteworthy. He didn't command, he collaborated. Each decision was a collective effort. Each challenge met with a calm determination that seemed to defy human psychological limitations. The transmission back to Earth remained steady and professional. No panic, no desperation. Just clear, concise reporting of their ongoing mission and discoveries. Researcher Glink's crystalline body shifted colors rapidly, a sign of extreme cognitive processing among his species. The data challenged everything they knew about biological adaptation, technological innovation, and survival potential. Halfway through the mission, the human team had not only survived, but had begun to thrive. They were collecting scientific data that would revolutionize understanding of planetary exploration, biological adaptation, and technological innovation. The planet continued its relentless assault. Toxic environments, extreme temperatures, constant geological instability. But the humans remained unfazed. Something profound was happening. This was more than a mission. This was a statement about human potential that would echo through galactic scientific circles for generations. The planet, 789, had become a battlefield between human determination and environmental chaos. 60% of the mission was complete, but what the humans had accomplished already defied every scientific prediction. Yoon Lee's latest breakthrough came unexpectedly, during a massive electrical storm that would have destroyed conventional equipment. She discovered a method to convert the planet's destructive energy into a sustainable power source. Her hands moved quickly across complex interfaces, transforming what should have been a catastrophic event into an opportunity. Park watched the transformation with a calm that unnerved the alien observers. Where most commanders would show excitement or tension, he remained steady, a human machine of calculated precision. Soo-jin's medical systems had begun tracking something extraordinary. The human body wasn't just surviving, it was evolving. Cellular adaptations occurred at a rate that completely shattered existing understanding of biological resilience. Her nanomedical suits were no longer just protection, they were becoming an extension of human capability. The Galactic Confederation's Scientific Council watched the live transmission in absolute silence. Their most advanced predictive models had calculated a 99.9% mission failure probability. Yet here were these humans, not just surviving but systematically transforming an impossible environment. A critical moment arrived when the planet's ground began to destabilize. Massive geological shifts threatened to consume their entire research base. Any other species would have initiated emergency evacuation protocols. The human team saw it as another problem to solve. Park's voice remained calm across communication channels. Preparing adaptive stabilization sequence, he announced as if discussing a routine maintenance task. Yoon Lee's technological innovations came into play. She had been studying the planet's geological patterns, developing a system that could predict and counter ground instability. What would take alien research teams years, she accomplished in hours. The adaptive infrastructure they had built began to move, not retreat, not collapse, but actually shift and modify itself to match the changing environment. It was like watching a living organism negotiate with the planet itself. Alien researchers found themselves rewriting their understanding of technological potential. These weren't just survival techniques. This was a fundamental reimagining of how technology could interact with hostile environments. Soo-jin's medical tracking revealed another shocking development. The human team's physiological stress levels remained remarkably low. Where any other species would show significant psychological and physical breakdown, these humans maintained peak performance. Impossible, muttered researcher Glink, his crystalline body flickering with colors representing profound confusion and emerging respect. The breakthrough wasn't just technological, it was philosophical. These humans weren't conquering the environment, they were communicating with it. Every challenge was an opportunity, every obstacle a potential solution. Communication logs showed something equally remarkable. No panic, no fear, just clear, calculated responses. Each team member anticipated the other's needs with an almost telepathic understanding. As the mission progressed, the humans began collecting scientific data that would revolutionize understanding of planetary exploration, geological patterns, atmospheric compositions, energy conversion techniques. Each discovery was meticulously documented and analyzed. The planet continued its relentless assault. Toxic atmospheres, extreme temperature variations, constant geological instability. But the human team remained unfazed, almost amused by the planet's attempts to defeat them. Park's final report to the Galactic Confederation was brutally simple. Mission parameters exceeded, continuous adaptation in progress, scientific discoveries ongoing. No flowery language, no elaborate explanations. Just a straightforward statement that seemed to challenge the very concept of impossible. The alien observers realized they were witnessing something more than a mission. This was a fundamental demonstration of human potential. A species that didn't just adapt to extreme conditions, but saw those conditions as an opportunity for growth and discovery. The transmission continued. One thing became crystal clear. These humans were not just exploring a planet. They were rewriting the understanding of what was possible. The Galactic Confederation's central chamber fell silent as the comprehensive mission report from X-789 was transmitted. J. Park's team had not just completed the mission, they had obliterated every scientific expectation imaginable, 200% ahead of projected timeline. 0 team casualties. Unprecedented scientific discoveries that would reshape galactic understanding of planetary exploration, biological adaptation, and technological innovation. Ambassador Krell's crystalline body shifted through colors representing absolute shock. His translator struggled to process the data. Humans had transformed what was designed as a death mission into a breakthrough of unimaginable proportions. The mission report was brutally simple. No complex scientific jargon, no elaborate explanations. Just clear, precise documentation of how they had systematically conquered an impossible environment. Researcher Vinna's multiple eyes blinked rapidly, a sign of extreme cognitive processing among her species. The data suggested something unprecedented, a species that didn't just adapt to extreme conditions, but saw those conditions as an opportunity for growth. Immediate consequences began to unfold. Diplomatic protocols were revised. Human representatives were suddenly invited to scientific councils that had previously considered them primitive. Research funding streams opened up, all focused on understanding human capabilities. The technological innovations were staggering. Yoon Lee's adaptive infrastructure design could potentially revolutionize planetary colonization. Her methods of energy conversion and environmental adaptation were decades ahead of current galactic technology. Sujin's medical research revealed even more shocking discoveries. Human physiological adaptability suggested capabilities that challenged fundamental understanding of biological resilience. Their bodies didn't just survive, they evolved in real time. Galactic news networks broadcast the mission results continuously. Images of humans working seamlessly in an environment that should have killed them within moments played on screens across thousands of planetary systems. The human team became instant legends, not through dramatic storytelling, but through their matter-of-fact approach to what should have been an impossible challenge. They had transformed scientific understanding without even trying to do so. Political implications were immediate. Species that had previously viewed humans as potential threats now saw them as potential partners. Diplomatic invitations flooded Earth's communication channels. J. Park received unprecedented recognition, but true to human nature, he treated the entire mission as just another day at work. No celebration, no dramatic speeches, just a continued focus on scientific exploration. The Confederation's scientific models had to be completely rewritten. Every predictive algorithm that had calculated human limitations now seemed laughably inadequate. These weren't just explorers. They were living examples of untapped potential. Yoon Lee's technological innovations were already being studied. Research centers across multiple planetary systems began attempting to understand her adaptive design principles. What she had created wasn't just a solution, it was a new way of thinking about technology. Sujin's medical research opened entirely. New fields of study. Human cellular adaptation suggested possibilities that medical scientists had never even imagined. The boundaries between technology and biology began to blur. The mission to X-789 became more than a scientific achievement. It was a statement about human potential that would echo through galactic civilization for generations. Alien species began reassessing everything they knew about humans. No longer were they seen as a young, potentially dangerous species. They were now viewed as a civilization with extraordinary adaptive capabilities. Diplomatic channels transformed overnight. Humans were no longer just another species to be cautiously observed. They were now potential leaders in scientific and exploratory fields. The Galactic Confederation's next meeting would be fundamentally different. Human representatives would be seated not as newcomers, but as equal partners. Their mission had earned them that respect. J. Park and his team returned to Earth, treating their world-changing mission as just another successful project. No dramatic celebrations, no excessive pride. Just a quiet understanding that they had changed everything. The universe had presented them with an impossible challenge. They had responded by redefining what was possible,